Hi everyone, I'm Tysz. I'm the Training and Behavior Manager at the Blue Ridge Humane Society. I'm standing in my dining room in my home in Hendersonville, North Carolina. And today I'd like to talk to you about helpful gear to take along when you're hiking with your dog. Okay, so I want to start off by talking about something which you should not use on your hike with your dog in a public place, and that is the flexi lead. These things are really gaining in popularity with dog owners, but they are not at all popular with dog trainers for a lot of reasons, which I don't have time to go into. I'm just going to go into a couple reasons why I don't think they're a good idea when you're hiking with your dog in a public place. First is that most hiking trails have a leash length limit, and it's usually about 6 feet. I don't know if you've noticed, but these things can get 10 to 15 feet long. So if your dog's at the end of this flexi lead and something's coming, maybe it's a biker or a jogger or another dog, and you want to get them back to you, you essentially have to reel them in as though they were a fish. You're not going to get to them in time. So you essentially have no control over your dog with this kind of leash. Now the other thing is this big bulky handle. If your dog suddenly sees a squirrel or something they want to chase and they jerk you, this thing's going to go flying out of your hand. Maybe your dog runs up to another dog, maybe that dog doesn't like other dogs, or a person that's maybe scared of dogs, or worst case scenario, your dog takes off and you can't find them again. So I just don't think that these are safe to be using in a public place. So the last thing is, if your dog is not good on leash, maybe they pull a lot on leash, these are terrible for teaching leash walking. Because the goal of leash walking is that we're teaching the dog to walk on a nice slack leash. So when the leash is slack, you get to walk. When it tightens up, we stop and wait until it's slack again. With these, there's always tension on the leash, so the dog never learns what it feels like to walk on a slack leash. So just terrible for teaching leash walking. We're pretty much reinforcing a tense leash at all times with these. The only thing I really use these for is recalls. So if I'm trying to test to see how reliable my dog's recall is outside, I'll use one of these and let them kind of get far away from me and call them back. But I don't do that in a place where I need really good control, where there's going to be a lot of other dogs or people around, mostly just on private property when I'm doing that. So in my opinion, toss these in the trash, especially if you're using them for walking or hiking in public places. Okay, so we talked about the kind of leashes that we shouldn't be using, so now let's talk about what we should be using. So this is just a standard cloth leash. It's 6 foot, which is usually what the hiking leash length recommendation is. And this one I really like because it's got a nice double loop, so if you're walking your dog and you need to get good control over them to pass somebody, it's got a handle to hold on to. But you can also knot your leash up, and that helps to give you something to grip onto. So just a standard cloth leash. You can also use leather. These are just really great for all around and good for hiking. And then the other thing I've got here is my hands-free waist leash. It comes with a belt and it's got a bunch of hooks so that I can adjust the length of my leash here. And these are really great if you are walking with a buggy, you know, with a baby in a buggy, or if you're jogging or hiking. Really good for freedom of movement for your hands, so you can move freely. It's also good if you have a dog that pulls, because the core is the strongest part of the body, so it's a really great place to have a dog anchored to. Now if your dog is very large and you are very small, you might want to be sure that the dog is not going to pull you down if they jerk too hard. But in general, for a dog that pulls, a waist leash is a good option, and it really saves the injury on your hands from holding onto a leash. So check out a hands-free waist leash and see if it's a good option for you. Okay, so I've got my Black and Tan Doberman Ludo helping me out today. We want to show you Ludo's harness. So this is a front connection harness. This one's the Easy Walk harness. It is for dogs that pull. So the idea here is that rather than connecting on the back like a traditional harness, this harness connects on the front, so when the dog pulls, it turns their body in towards you, which helps you get them back under control and get their leash slack again. It really helps to mitigate the pulling quite a bit with a lot of dogs. So I really suggest that you check out a front connection harness if you've got a dog that pulls. The other thing that you probably noticed or heard on Ludo is that he's wearing tags. So he's got an ID tag and a rabies tag. It's important that our dogs are wearing ID tags at all times in case they get lost. If your dog gets lost, they're much more likely to get returned if they've got ID tags on them. And the other thing you're going to notice that I've got is poo bags. I always am sure when I go hiking with my dog that I've got poo bags in case they need to go to the bathroom. It's really terrible for the environment to be leaving poo all over the hiking trail, so let's be sure that we're picking up after our dog and leaving no trace. And that also means that you're taking the poo bags with you. So if you're concerned about the smell of the poo, they make really great poo vaults on Amazon that you can purchase to block the smell of the poo. So check one of those out if you're worried about the smell, but it's important that you're not leaving the bags of poo behind and that you're taking them to the trash can. And lastly, you'll notice that I'm carrying a treat bag with me. As a trainer, I always carry treat bags wherever I go with my dog, especially if I'm going somewhere really distracting like a trail. It's a really good idea to make sure that you've got good control over your dog, to have something really good to offer them to distract them. Okay, so you'll notice I've got a backpack on Ludo today, and a backpack really helps to tire the active dog out. The extra weight really tires them out, and it can help them feel like they've got a job to do if they're wearing a pack. You can have them carry their own equipment in it, so their first aid kit and their water. The only thing I would caution is if it's really hot outside, they might not be able to cool themselves quite as well. But in the cooler weather, a backpack can be a really great option for tiring your dog out. I wanted to show you guys how to make your own first aid kit. You can of course purchase one, but it's not that hard to make one on your own. And if you're just going on a normal everyday hike, you don't really need that much with you. So just to show you what I've got here, I've got some alcohol pads for cleaning wounds, and then I've got some antibiotic ointment to keep the wound clean. And then I've got some different size gauze pads. So I've got a larger one and a smaller one for putting on top of wounds. And then I've got med wrap tape, which will help keep the gauze in place. And then I carry some tweezers with me in case the dog gets a splinter or something stuck in them. And then some allergy pills in case they get stung by something. And then I always like to carry a bandana around with me to use as a tourniquet or to wet the dog down with water or use as shade. So all around, all-purpose tool. So this is just a good basic first aid kit you can bring on a hike with you. So a couple really important things to bring along, of course, is water and a bowl. So I've got a couple options here. This one I really like because it's a combination of a water bottle and a bowl. So it's got the water bottle here, and then on the bottom you've got the bowl that comes out to let your dog drink. They also make some that the bowl is on the top that you can kind of flip down, but I really like this one. And then if you don't want to get something like that, you can always just get one of these collapsible bowls. They just kind of pop open, and then you've got a little bowl there, and it's a lot easier than carrying around a big water dish with you because you can flatten it back out when you're done. Always be sure you're bringing fresh water, plenty of fresh water for your dog to drink when you're out on your hikes. Okay, so let's recap some helpful gear for hiking with your dog. One, we want to have a 4 to 6 foot leather or cloth leash, and when appropriate, we can have the hands-free waist leash. For those dogs that pull, we want to try a front connection, no pull harness like the Easy Walk, Balance, or Freedom harness. All dogs should always be wearing ID tags and rabies tags. And if your dog is microchipped, be sure you're keeping your microchip information up to date. Bring water and a collapsible bowl. If your dog is very active, consider trying a backpack. Be sure you've got your poo bags and your poo bag holders. And always bring a first aid kit along just in case for emergencies. I hope these tips have been helpful for selecting the best gear for hiking with your dog. This video is part of a series on hiking with your dog.